Hey, what's up, guys? Back with another video. This one is about a mother and a daughter refusing a $26 million payout for a data center. So, whether you heard about it or not, they turned down the offer. And, because half my family is country folks, so you just can't buy everything with money. Especially when you get around them kind of people, they value, friends and family more than anything, but they also appreciate what they have. They also know what they have. So you're not really gonna pull a fast one on them. But at the end of the day, you know, the mother and daughter, they're country folks, but they're also up in age. So at a certain age, you can't make old people do anything. But I'm going to go ahead and play the video, and you guys let me know what would you do if you had this offer.
Kentucky have turned down a $26 million. A mother and daughter in Kentucky have turned down a $26 million offer for part of their farmland. CBS News' Jared Otacher met with this family and asked them why they said no to this massive amount of money.
This is the land in rural Kentucky that Delcia and her mother Ida turned down $26 million for.
I just said my land is not for sale. I never had a for sale sign on my land. I never wanted to sell my land, never even dreamed of thinking about selling my land. And it's priceless.
It's easy to say no to $26 million whenever it really doesn't buy anything that you need. Once this land is gone, there wouldn't be anything else I'd really want.
And they told me it wasn't a difficult decision, and it's one they'd make again, because this property isn't just property. It's a home, and it's a lifestyle of farming that's been passed down in generations and generations.
If you paying attention to the reporter, by the glimmer in his eyes, you already know what he would have done. And that's common for this new generation of people, man. They don't give a shit about nothing. You just give them some money, they'll give up all their values, whatever. They their beliefs over money. They'll betray their friends and family. They'll get rid of the dog for money. That's just a harsh reality. So you can look at him, bro. It's like they offering him the money. So you already know what these new generation folks gonna do, man. So that's a no brainer.
Of their family.
Oh, it's all the time when we had uh, parties. We fixed that back there for the grandkids to have, cookouts. Just ever Christmases and everything we needed, it was usually right here.
They were offered tens of thousands of dollars per acre, as were a few of their neighbors, so that an unnamed company could build a 2,000+ acre data center. It would be the biggest project in the state.
Most of the people I've been around, please don't let us down, please. Our land won't, our businesses will be destroyed here. Our homes will be no value to them left. Please don't let this happen to our county.
A community group called We Are Mason County is suing to try and slow down the process and learn who the organization is, the company is, behind the project.
I cannot get enough of these ladies.
They're so great.
And Jared Ochacha joins us now. This was there are a few stories that kind of are refreshing in a way that people will act in ways that you don't expect. $26 million. Were they offered that for all of their land or just part of it? Because they could have kept some of the land probably.
Right, so between Delcia and Ida, the mother and daughter, they own around 600 acres. And with more of their family, it's over 1,000. So they were offered this money for part of their land, and as you heard, they said no.
So tell us about this lawsuit that was filed by the community groups to slow this development.
So there's a citizen community group called We Are Mason County. And just this week, they filed this lawsuit. And 30 minutes ago, the leader of the group sent me a copy of the complaint. And basically what they're arguing is that nowhere in the county zoning ordinance does it say anything about data centers. So they're arguing that if this were to go...
I'm gonna be honest with you. In those, well, because it happens here. Those zoning laws, they don't matter. If you have enough money, you'll turn a commercial into a residential. You'll turn a residential into a commercial. But of course, they turn all the commercials into residentials, which is illegal. And but it don't matter. If you got enough money, you make the city change that around. Especially, I keep telling you, I told you guys before, they always go to these little. Not saying they poor, but they always go to these rural areas. Normally farmland because you only got to convince maybe one or two people, maybe three the most. But normally when you go out there, they got quite a bit of land. So the most they probably only got to talk to three of them landowners, convince them to give up their land for a small little fee compared to come to the city, which will never happen because you're trying to move hundreds or thousands of people out the way just so you can build that massive plot of land. But they're not going to do that because it's more easier just to go out there in the rural areas. But yeah, again, especially places like that, because all they're gonna do is talk to the mayor, whoever in charge, right? They're gonna pay them under the table. They're gonna get their little tax break for like 20 years or whatever, and that's pretty much about it. So they trying to go about it that way, like okay, we'll just pay them, and then they'll come off the land. But now they're getting pushback. So normally what they'll do, but that'll normally happen with people who don't have anything. So if they were to go, in a poor town and be like, hey, we want to build a data center here, and then whoever in charge of the mayor or whatever, they be like, listen, man, I know it's a couple thousand people staying here, but we get this data center in this exact spot, we'll look out for you. So all they gonna do in that situation is most of them people are poor. So if they are paying taxes, which most likely they are, it's a little bit of taxes. 'Cause, the whole city is poor. So all they gonna do is talk to whoever in charge. Hey man, yeah, I heard your taxes ain't that good, but we'll go ahead and take care of that. So many years or whatever, they'll make it sound good just so they can get their foot in the door. So that hey man, we'll go ahead and we'll pay 20 years of taxes for that whole community right now. And on top of that, we'll go ahead and give you a little bonus under the table. And if you go ahead and just give it this plot of land, so the city, of course, like I said, it's gonna be a poor town, a poor city. They're gonna take it because you already putting money in the mayor's pocket. He ain't getting money like that. There's not a lot of people that's living there on top of that just paying taxes. Most people are old, so they like, okay, well, he gonna be like, all right, whatever. They gonna pay him whatever because the money they gonna give him is nothing. So most time, what happens? That's how it goes down. And then they see the city raises taxes, um, a crazy amount. You already know they can't afford it. And then they go ahead and start kicking people out of the neighborhood, and then they just bulldoze that down and everything. So people only see it when they start seeing the construction workers and stuff like that. But that plan been happened. That happened probably a year before or whatever. And then it's about to go down when they start raising the tax, and then you start hearing people complain about the taxes being extremely high. Yeah, plan, the first part of the plan already started. They're gonna raise the taxes. And then next thing you know, you're gonna see it's gonna be like a SWAT team. You're gonna see all kind of tractors, 18 wheelers, all kind of heavy equipment, pieces of equipment coming through there. Yeah, they're gonna start tearing all them little houses down, and yeah, that's just normally how they go about. They go in them poor areas. So I mean, I'm gonna say it again, Coca-Cola in Mexico. Them people over there having a hard time getting water, and they getting the well water. Even though it's not good to drink, but still, that's they drink that. They use that to wash their clothes and bathe. Coca-Cola got a plant over there. They sucking up all the water. But before they moved in, they said, "Oh, we just need a little bit." They gonna tell them whatever they need to tell them just to get their foot in the door. 'Cause once they get set up, that's it. And keep in mind these companies have unlimited amount of lawyers and unlimited amount of money. So them people that's in that area with Coca-Cola, they struggling just to get some water. So yeah.
Go through. If the construction were to go through, it would be an illegal construction project.
Wow.
And their goal here is to square that out and also to slow this process down and figure out who this anonymous builder is behind it.
I mean, if it's a data center, my mind is going to all of the Silicon Valley companies that we know by name.
I'm gonna say this right now. Only way it's not gonna happen unless you got a lot of money to fight this company to kick them out, just out of town, and the people in charge, like say the mayor and all those politicians who make them the rules, they say no. But the fact that they're actually in their town, going around talking to all the neighbors to try to get the body land, they already got the people, in power in their pocket. because if they weren't going to build there, they wouldn't be over there asking people to sell their land. So you already know that I already told you, they already ran the play. So they already paid everybody they need to pay off. So all they got to do is just buy the land from them. So if the city wasn't with it, they wouldn't be walking around trying to buy people land. So they already got the first phase done. They already okay. Hey, we're gonna pay this money. Yeah, go ahead and manipulate the paperwork, and we'll go out there and we'll handle the rest. So the only way you're gonna get successfully get them out of your town is if you got some lawyers to get them out of there, and on top of that, the people in charge ain't going for it. But they already going for it because, as you can tell in the video, they going around trying to buy up everybody land. So yeah. But at the end of the day, if you don't sell, they can't do nothing. So and then if they try to, go the illegal route, like the city try to do some shady stuff, then of course they'll sue them, and then so they don't want to deal with all that. They rather just let them go out there and like, yeah, just seeking buy the land, and if they don't sell, then they can't do nothing about it because the next step for them to do in order for them to get the land, of course the city they got to do some illegal stuff. So they do that, then they don't want that.
I won't name them, but it's probably one of those.
And the lawyer who is representing the citizen group is saying, and at this community meeting I went to on Wednesday, he was saying exactly that. He's like, we need to know who they are. I have a right as the attorney representing people in this community to cross-examine the company behind it.
To be able to represent them fairly. What I love, though, about this story is that these women are digging their heels to try to preserve a way of life that is being threatened by the future, by technology, by the needs of our cell phones, right? Data centers are needed to support all of the uses of our cell phones, and that the community is even coming together and rejecting this money.
Right. So the two things I want to point out there, a lawyer for the project said, hey, you guys all have cell phones. You need data centers like this in order for them to operate. And also the community coming together. While people like Ida and
last time I checked, this is the bullshit they try to feed you, right? Data centers just started. That just started. Bro, when the cell phone came out in the early 2000s, we know damn data center. Data centers is for so they can make these chips and the power, well, not the chips, but the power of the AI even more. I mean, that's it. That ain't got nothing to do with a cell phone, bro. Cell phones came out in the early 2000s. Nobody wasn't talking about no data centers. I tell you guys all the time, don't believe the media, man. Do your own research. Fuck out of here. We need data centers for our cell phone. And you can tell the black chick, she quick. She the one that sells grandma house. So you already gotta watch her. Like she already a clown. All right, no, she the one that sell grandma house. So she gonna buy her a car and get on Instagram and be one to stunt and stuff like that. Yeah, you don't trust females like that, bro. Don't never give females financial responsibility whatsoever. Cause female, all right, I peeped that real quick about her. She that female. Yeah, she'll sell you to a pirate if she could.
And Delcia did receive offers for their property that are many times more than what the land is actually worth. A lot of neighbors did not. They didn't receive any offers of compensation, and they told me that they're concerned that if this project were to go through, the value of their property, their home, will plummet. And they're also concerned about the possibility of the project being an eyesore of noise and sound and possible environmental pollution.
All of those things, they're going to need employees to operate those data centers.
I also just love their little quote, which is, what was it?
It really doesn't buy anything that you need, that money.
All that money. Yeah. I mean, that was beautiful.
So, and I asked them, like, fun question we always ask our friends, if you were to win the lottery, what would you do with the money? I asked them that, You kind of were offered a crazy sum of money. What would you do with it? They said, I would buy more land and more cows.
I love these American women.
So great. Kentucky have turned.
All right, man. Well, there's the video. They turned down 26 M's, and they only wanted, I think, like half of their land because they got quite a bit of land. I'm gonna say this because I know there's gonna be some black Indians come through there talking about, is it theirs? Is it all theirs? I wanted to say it earlier, but I'm like, let me not do that. But since it's the end of the video, if you know, you know, for you black Americans, if you know, you know. But anyway, they offer 26 M's for half of land. So Will the other neighbors sell? I don't know, whatever. But keep in mind, these data centers are like ginormous. So they went to her first for a reason because they found out who had the most land. Like, hey, we can just go ahead and we can just get this one. We don't need all of it. She got way more than what we need. So we'll try to get half of it from her. But I don't know. At the end of the day, you know, these people that stand in these areas, you know, as you can see right now, her and her daughter is old. So there's a lot of elderly people. And if they keep pushing, it's gonna be a waiting game. But you know, right now they ain't gonna try to wait. They're not trying to wait. They're gonna just go to the next town over, and somebody gonna fold. They gonna get what they're looking for. So they just gonna stay in the rural areas, and of course you got the rural areas and the poor areas, just like anywhere else. Um, that's just what it is. So instead of going to them areas where people own a whole lot of land, you can just go down the road, and they'll find what they're looking for. So they not. I mean, they can play the long game, but I did research on them data centers. They trying to put one up every day. Like it's so many other companies that's trying to compete and trying to build the biggest, most efficient data center ever. So it's literally a wild race to put them things up. So, but they were to play the long game, all they gotta do is just wait it out. But that's gonna take years, and they'll have to come after their grandkids. And but that's nah, they're gonna be so far behind by that time they trying to get it done now. So, and to be honest with you, they offer 26, they got 60. One thing about business, a negotiation. If they offer you that amount, they got way more. Remember, whenever you negotiate, we gonna start at the top or the bottom. So they just gave a little. They ain't gonna even sneeze at that and offer 26 million. But in reality, they probably could have gave her 90 million. You know what I mean? They can give her they can give her the 60. If they offer 26, yeah, they were prepared to give her the 60. Because at the end of the day, they already crunched the numbers. They already know how much money they're gonna make every second, every minute, every hour, every day. So that money is nothing to them. But I'm glad they didn't. You know, they didn't fold. But that's how it gets down, man. But of course, if they were staying in a poor neighborhood, it'd be a whole different story. But these are actual landowners. They got all this cattle and all this stuff like that. And that's what they need because it's easy for them to build out there. There's nothing out there compared to you going, to, like I say, to a small town. You got to bulldoze all the houses, you know, all the apartments or whatever. You probably got gas stations. It's a lot of land they need. So that's why they go to them farmers because they got all this empty land. It's perfect for them. Instead of going to a town, you got to, you know, they'll do it, but it's too much hassle because you got to kick everybody out the neighborhood. They got to tear the neighborhood all the way down to the dirt, and then they got to. It's more work compared to you just starting off fresh on some empty land. But whatever, man. That's what it is. Um, again, the data centers, man. I think I'll do a review on that too. But them data centers ain't no joke, man. You get one by you, extreme noise radiation, light radiation, your water get polluted. It gets real bad. But anyway, watch the video. Let me know what you think about it. I'm gonna ask, even though I don't want to ask. I know a lot of y'all would have took the 26 and not have looked back. But in your situation, would you have folded for the 26? Would you have asked for more? Would you have just completely said no and get off my land? You know, what's your answer? But leave it down below. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. And no matter what, I was picking peace, your pockets, and your purpose.